Hi there, I'm Jill Chivers from shopyourwardrobe.com.
And I'm Imogen Lamport from Inside Out Style blog. We've been asked questions about how to have a much more productive online shopping experience.
Yeah.
And I think these days, as more and more shopping opportunities are happening in the online space, and it also gives us so many more options, particularly if you live not in a big city where you don't have many bricks and mortar options.
Yeah.
It can be a fabulous way of actually finding something new and finding the garments that really work for you. And now that the world is open to us, we have the global opportunity of online shopping.
Yes.
It gives us even more choice. Now, that choice can be completely overwhelming as well, and many of us who are more kinesthetic might find it a difficult process. And I know Jill's thought a lot about this, and so I was going to say, Jill, what are some of your tips for having a great online shopping experience?
Online shopping can be terrific. It can open up a whole new world of items that you didn't know that you had access to. So there's lots of positives to it. And as we know, shopping itself is a morally neutral activity. It's neither right nor wrong, but you want to make sure you feel good about all the shopping that you do before, during, and particularly after. There can be a lot of regret that can come, and online shopping has a few additional layers to it. This sense of excitement of anticipating a purchase and then the boxes arriving. It can really start to generate a whole life of its own where you can get into a bit of a cycle of just wanting those boxes to arrive.
It feels like you're getting a present, doesn't it?
You can feel that. Feel like Christmas every day, and you want to get that good feeling, and so you can get a little bit trapped. So a lot of the same strategies that keep you on the straight and narrow, as it were, for shopping in any shopping environment certainly apply, but there's a few additional things that come into online shopping that I would suggest to you. One is, remember that it's real money. You're using the magic plastic or some form of electronic payment. There is no option to pay with cash. And, you know, one of the reasons the casinos take so much money from people is because you pay with chips. That's really, really deliberate, because it inserts this step between you and your money.
It doesn't look like money.
It doesn't. It doesn't feel like money. It has, you know, it's all very colourful and it can feel a bit playful. And online shopping has those same elements to it. The psychologically distancing you from your real money that you worked hard to get or have invested is at play here. So remembering it's real money and tracking that in some way is a really, really good thing to do, so that you don't end up being surprised at either how low your PayPal balance is or how high your credit card bill is, because you really haven't been paying that much attention. So that would be probably one of my biggest tips for keeping your online shopping really healthy and making sure you feel happy about it. I would also say use a couple of the measures that will work in your favour that already exist, such as using the watch list or the wish list. They're really good ways to park your shopping so that you can suspend that. I love it, my heart's beating so fast at the thought of this gorgeous whatever, and buying it. And they're really good things, using those checks and balances. Ask questions of the buyer if there's an opportunity. Read the description, check the shipping, check the return. These are all really good things to do to slow down the shopping experience, which might sound counterintuitive, but it can be so easy to just click and pay and lose that sense of consciousness.
And I think too, particularly with this as well, is like often people say, well, if you've never shopped on this online store before, read reviews.
Yeah. And
go online and do a search on that store, because sometimes there'll be some stores where the quality might be very poor.
Yes.
So they're not going to put those reviews on there. But if you go online and just search, you know, reviews of clothes from XYZ,
yeah,
you might actually find some information.
Yes.
And you might find, okay, like a lot of people had bad experiences, maybe this is not the place I want to shop. And I think that's, you know, and if you are shopping somewhere where you don't know, make your first purchase a small one, so that you don't get bitten.
Absolutely.
If you suddenly discover that it's nothing, and many of us have seen some of those pictures of this is what it was supposed to be, and it came out looking like this. It was nothing like it, and I think that's important. So reading those reviews, and they often also talk about the sizing and the fabrics and all sorts of things in the reviews, where that's going to give you some extra information to have a better experience.
Excellent.
That you might go, oh, okay, in this I need to go up a size or down a size.
Yes.
You know, so all those sorts of things I think are really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, one of the things you also shared with me is about that kinesthetic thing. If they do have an online, a bricks and mortar store, to go in And you know, the value to that is you get to feel things and touch things and try them on.
And you can get to know your size. So, and I think it's much easier to shop online when you go on. You know, I've been into this store and I've tried on lots of things, even if I haven't bought them, you know, but then I can go, I'm generally a size 12, or I generally take a size 8 in that, or a size 15, or whatever it might be. That you kind of go, okay, on the whole, I find these sizes work for me in this store.
Yeah.
And then I also know what kind of fabrics they use. I've felt them and I know that they're generally nice fabrics and they work for me as well. And speaking of fabric, I think it's really important to get to know your fabrics. So this is something that you generally need to do, is go through stores or go through your wardrobe and start looking at, of all your favorite things, what are the fabric contents?
Yeah.
So when you're online and you can look at them and you can say, oh, okay, well, I've got lots of things that have got elastane in them because it gives it a bit of stretch and I like that.
Yeah.
Or I really like things that are made of linen, or I like, you know, like there's different fabrics that I really like.
Yes.
And look at the things too that you know, say you don't like or haven't worn, or you've got things that you just go and go, well, what's that fabric? Get to know your fabrics, because that's going to give you, because when you can't see it, the problem with online shopping is it's a tiny little photo on a little screen and you can't see the quality in the same way, because they can make things look much better than they are.
Yes.
You can't feel them. There's all those other elements. You know.
And it's often the smallest size that's being modelled as well. And if you aren't buying the smaller size, recognising that it may look significantly different. The proportions may change. If you're buying, say, the larger size, it's showing a size 2 and you're buying the 12 or the 14. It can look different. And that's why those suggestions, and scrupulous online sellers will often suggest this, test the measurements against an item you already own.
Yes. And also too is where they do say this model is wearing a size 10 and she is 5'10" tall, or whatever it is. Those sort of, you know, because if you're looking at it and going, she's got super, like she's really, like she's 6 foot tall and she's wearing something that looks like a mini skirt, but you're petite, it's probably not going to be quite so short on you. Yes. So there's all those sorts of things you might want to think about as well.
Absolutely. And the thing about online shopping is that there's nobody to regulate your shopping behaviour, just like in a normal shopping environment, except that predominantly we do it alone. So where you can put some measures in place by shopping with somebody else when you're shopping in a bricks and mortar store, you don't have that, and so you really have to act as your own best friend when you're shopping online. So even if that means you come up with your own guidelines that support you, so that you feel good about every shopping trip before, during and after online, and you don't get caught up in that sort of Christmas Day opening presents kind of feeling that can be addictive.
Another thing to think about is actually always buying multiple sizes. If you don't know how the sizes fit, check the return policy. Expect to return probably 90% of what you buy. I think you've got to look at it that online shopping is more like, I'm taking stuff into my home change room, and I'm going to leave most of it behind. So therefore expect you will return it. So have a look at return policies and shipping and all those sorts of things. Take multiple sizes. So yes, your initial outlay will be larger, but you should get, you know, you'll get that money back, because there's nothing worse than going, oh, I'm now settling for a size that's not so great because I don't want to have to send that back and then order another one and pay shipping again. And, you know, like, and this is where I know some stores have much better shipping and free shipping than others do. So do check those sorts of things, because I think it's really important to do that, just as we would into a change room. Treat it like it's in my at-home change room. It's at my mirror, which I know is not a skinny mirror.
Mine isn't either, sadly.
But in stores, in my lighting, in my wardrobe, in a non-emotional environment, in the way that shopping can be an emotional and charged experience in the stores. So treat it like that. Don't treat it that I bought it and I got it and then it can never go back. And I think that is probably one of the key things with having a productive online. You know, if you let your expectations be quite different from, I'm going to get this thing, it's going to be fabulous.
And in that way, in some respects, the time efficiency that's often ascribed to online shopping is a bit of a misnomer, because sure, you don't have to get in the car and drive to the mall and compete, you know, with other shoppers and all the rest of that kind of stuff. You can still have a considerable time investment with online shopping when you consider all the upfront stuff that you need to do, and all the checking and the reading and measuring of existing items, all those things, buying multiples, waiting for them to arrive, trying them on, taking things back, and I don't mean to, you know, belabor the point, but it can all add up in terms of time.
It can, but then it's often like you can do it at a time that's convenient to you.
That's
so
right.
if you're
and in the
working
nude if you want to.
And you can do it at night, and you can do it, you know, weekends. You can do it when the regular stores aren't open. So I mean, that's one of the benefits, and the fact that it's so global. I think, you know, that's where there's so many different options you have. So it really expands your world.
Yeah.
But you do want to be careful. And just be aware that there are pitfalls. Yes. Again, just like an in-store experience, they're putting some things in your way to, you know, go, oh, you tried this, why not try this thing? And people who bought this also bought that. You know, all that stuff. It's like, would you like fries with that? It's the upsell.
Yes.
So always be aware they're trying to make more money.
Yes. That is the point of it, to separate you from your cash.
So do be aware that there's no, you know, like when they say try it with, you know, it's that, well, and unlike any shopping experience, I always think, well, will it go with other things in my wardrobe? Yes. You know, like let's pass all those same tests, you know.
And whether or not other people who bought this item also bought all this other stuff is kind of immaterial. It really doesn't matter what other people purchased. It matters what you are going to purchase and how this will work for you.
So there are our tips for having a more productive, more fabulous online shopping experience.
Absolutely. And tell us in the comments about your best and maybe your worst online shopping experiences and what you learned that other women would find of value when they go shopping online.